Welcome. Today, we delve into the comprehensive claims and entitlements for job order and contract of service personnel during official travels.
Let us now clarify the changes due to the issuance of the Joint Circular last 2025 and how we can make the claims easier to process.
This presentation provides for the allowed claims for job order and contract of service personnel during official travels. In this video, we aim to clarify the legal basis for your travel, highlight the differences between regular employee and job order and contract of service personnel travel claims, and walk you through the necessary documentary requirements. Official travel is governed by a robust framework, including the Civil Service Commission, Commission on Audit, Department of Budget and Management Joint Circular No. 1, Series of 2025, which provides for the basis of actual claims, Executive Order No. 77, that lays out the limits of travel claims, COA Resolution No. 2021-044, which provides for requirements specific to job orders and contract of service, and COA Circular No. 2021-001 that differentiated the use of certification of expenses not requiring receipts and reimbursement expense receipt. The golden rule is that job order and contract of service personnel are strictly on an actual expense reimbursement basis, in accordance with paragraph 11.1.2 of the earlier mentioned Joint Circular. Remember, no receipt means no reimbursement. Every claim requires valid supporting documentation. The daily travel expense rates for regular personnel are set by Executive Order 77. Consequently, the Joint Circular also mentions EO 77 as the document that provides for the limits in the claims of job orders and contract of service personnel. According to EO 77, places of travel are divided into 3 clusters, each with a corresponding daily travel expense limit as follows. For Cluster 1, with a DTE of 1,500 pesos, covers areas of Regions 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 12, 13, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Cluster 2, with a DTE of 1,800 pesos daily, includes the Cordillera Administrative Region, Regions 6, 7, 10, and 11. And lastly, Cluster 3, with a DTE of $2,200 daily, includes the National Capital Region and Regions 4A and 4B. Again, these DTE clusters provides for the limits of travel expenses that can be claimed. Aside from DTE, personnel on travel can also claim transportation expenses. To help us distinguish between transportation expenses and daily travel expenses, transportation covers expenses on how to get to the destination and back to our residence or official station. This includes taxi fares, airfare, bus, and ship tickets. Use of Transport Network Vehicle Services, or TNVS, like Grab, are allowed, but only at taxi rate. Any excess are at the personnel's expense. As for DTE, this pertains to the expenses to cover meals, lodging, and other incidental costs. Now, let us dive deeper on the DTE composition. For meals, the maximum claim is 30% of your DTE, strictly divided into 10% for each meal. Any excess beyond the allowed amount shall be borne by the employee. Also, take note that for those functions, conventions, and travels wherein meals is provided by the host agency or regional office, no more claims shall be allowed for the specific meals sponsored or provided. As to the lodging component, which is 50% of the DTE, claims duly supported with receipts can be claimed at actual cost up to 100% of your DTE. For example, if you travel to Cebu, wherein the DTE is 1,800, of which half is the basic allocation for lodging. However, since claims of job order and contract of service personnel are supported by official receipts, then the actual limit is twice the allocation, which is up to 1,800 daily. Incidental expenses are capped at 20% of your DTE. This mostly covers inland transportation, or the fare we pay from the hotel to the actual venue, or location of the travel. since job order and contract of service personnel are required to provide official receipts for claims. However, we also encounter some expense or establishments that do not issue the said document. Hence, we look at the documents allowed to be presented for claims. These receipts fall into 3 categories. First is the actual issued official receipts that is required for registered establishments. These includes taxis, meals, airfare, bus fare, and others. The certification of expenses not requiring receipts, or CENRR, apply to small expenses under 300 pesos that don't issue receipts. Examples are tricycle and jeepney fares. Reimbursement expense receipt, or RER, are used for non-receipt issuing vendors or service providers above 300 up to 1,000 pesos. RER must be signed by the specific vendor or service provider. Again, claims should be supported with official receipts. Only those clearly identified vendors or service providers that do not issue receipts can be claimed through CENRR and RER. No claims shall be allowed for those provided with service vehicles during their travel. As to the compensation of job order and contract of service personnel, payment of services rendered are provided for travels during working days, as well as weekends and holidays. No add-ons for overtime is allowed, since the CSC-COA DBM Joint Circular, paragraph 11.1, specifically mentions that overtime pay is subject to the same rules as CSC DBM Joint Circular No. 2, series of 2015, wherein Section 7.3 expressly states that personnel on travel status are not allowed to claim overtime. Again, you can claim your standard daily wage for services rendered while on travel status. As we all know, only regular employees are allowed to draw out cash advances for travels. So what about job orders and contract of service personnel, considering that you also need funds when traveling? Aside from just reimbursing after the travel of any expenses incurred, job order and contract of service personnel can also draw out cash advance for travel by incorporating it with the cash advance of a regular personnel that is also part of the same travel. The regular personnel must consent to this and must not have any unliquidated cash advances. As job orders and contract of service personnel, we need to take into consideration our responsibilities in this process. The regular employee must liquidate the cash advance, including ours, within the prescribed time of 30 calendar days. This means that we need to process and submit our documents as early as possible upon arrival to the official station, since the liquidation requires various levels of processing. All documents required must be submitted, and any unused cash shall be refunded. A permanent employee who fails to liquidate the cash advance within the allowed period can be disqualified from bonuses, like the performance-based bonus. If we want to be included in the cash advance, we must ensure that we have the necessary documents as follows: an approved special order that shows the name of employees, the destination, time of travel, as well as allowed entitlements. Another requirement stated in COA Resolution number 2021-044 is a certification by the authorized official that the official tasks cannot be performed by or assigned to any other regular personnel, and that the tasks or activities are necessary to fulfill the obligations as contained in the contract. And lastly, an approved itinerary, duly filled out and indicating the dates, mode of transportation, time, and entitlements limited to the amounts allowed as DTE in Executive Order number 77. After your travel, either for liquidation or reimbursement purpose, prepare the following documentary requirements, as required by EO 77 and COA Circular number 2012-001. Certificate of appearance or attendance, duly signed, with details on the days you have appeared and the visited office or event. A certificate of travel completed, indicating whether the travel was in accordance with the approved itinerary, was cut short due to certain reasons, or there were other deviations. Itinerary of travel, including its revision, that now includes the actual expenses. Special order and any amendments thereto. Official receipts, boarding pass, tickets, and other documents showing the payment of travel and transportation expenses, and post-travel or post-activity report, duly signed and noted by the immediate supervisor.
Now, let us look at some sample exercises to apply what we have learned about these travel policies and requirements.
In this exercise, you traveled to Batangas, which is part of Cluster 3, with a DTE of 2,200 daily, and incurred the following expenses for meals: 150 for breakfast, 300 for lunch, and 190 for dinner. How much now can you claim as part of your meals?
In this exercise, for a trip to Batangas, your breakfast and dinner receipts are within the 220 peso limit and are reimbursed in full. However, your lunch exceeded the maximum cap of 220 pesos, meaning you will only be reimbursed up to the ceiling amount. Hence, the total claim will be 150 for breakfast, 220 for lunch, and 190 for dinner, with a total of 560. The excess of 80 pesos from your lunch is your personal expense, since you exceeded the amount allowed.
Moving to our next scenario, in Cebu, which is part of Cluster 2, with a DTE of $1,800 daily. You went to Cebu for an inspection and booked a hotel that costs $1,200 per night. The DTE component for lodging is 50%, or 900 pesos. How much are you allowed to claim in this scenario? In this Cebu scenario, because lodging or accommodation can be claimed up to 100% of the daily travel expense rate, as long as it is supported with an official receipt, you are able to claim the full cost of the hotel room, amounting to 1,200 pesos. Next exercise is a travel to General Santos City under Cluster I with a DTE of 1,500 pesos. You traveled for an event by MARINA, wherein all meals and accommodation are provided. However, you went out for lunch and incurred expenses for meals amounting to 150 pesos. How much can you claim? Since your host has provided the meals and accommodation, any expense you incurred, such as the lunch outside the venue, will not be allowed. That concludes our guide on official travel. We hope these examples have helped clarify the claims for travels of job orders and contract of service personnel. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the accounting division at 10th floor of the Marina building. You may also call us at 8523-2950 or email us at acctg.marina@gmail.com or accounting@marina.gov.ph. Thank you and good morning.